we talk about R&B and soul in the 60s, most people go straight to Motown labels legends, the Supremes, the Temptations, the Four Tops, and Marvin Gaye turning every groove into history. But beyond the Motown machine and Stax headliners, the decade was crowded with bands who burned just as bright for a moment, then slipped into the shadows. So let's dig deeper. Here are 12 underrated 60s R&B and soul bands you probably forgot existed. Number 1. The Marvelettes. In 1961, a group of high school friends from Inkster, Michigan stormed the charts with Please Mr. Postman. The track hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, driven by a hand-clap pulse, a blues-based chord cycle, and call-and-response vocals that felt raw and immediate. Their next single, Playboy, kept the momentum alive with tight vocal unison, punchy horn accents, and a playful lyrical hook that leaned closer to doo-wop than polished Motown pop. Later, Beachwood 4-5789 showcased their 12/8 shuffle swing, stacked harmonies, and conversational phrasing that would define the girl group sound. Yet as Motown shifted resources toward the Supremes, the Marvelettes were sidelined. They gave the label its breakthrough blueprint, but history remembers them as a stepping stone instead of pioneers. Number 2. The Contours. Another product of the Motown hit factory, the Contours brought a sound that was anything but polished. Their 1962 breakout, Do You Love Me, charged forward with a 12/8 shuffle groove, rasping gospel shout vocals, and a stomping backbeat that turned teen dances into riots. The song sold over 1 million copies, and decades later found new life in Dirty Dancing. But while Motown pushed the Supremes and the Temptations into the spotlight, the Contours were left behind. Their raw energy didn't fit Berry Gordy's vision of crossover elegance. They showed Motown had a wild, unrefined side, yet history remembers them as a one-hit act instead of the group that proved chaos could sell. Number 3. The Capitals. From Detroit's vibrant R&B scene came the Capitals, another act tied closely to the Motown orbit. In 1966, they struck lightning with Cool Jerk, a track built on syncopated snare hits, stabbing horns, and a walking bass vamp laid down by the legendary Funk Brothers session band. It was a pure dance floor weapon, raw, funky, and slightly ahead of its time, foreshadowing the stripped-down grooves James Brown would soon dominate with. But after that explosive hit, the Capitals couldn't replicate the formula. In Motown history, they've been overshadowed by bigger names, remembered mainly for one irresistible anthem. Yet Cool Jerk remains a reminder that Detroit soul could be just as gritty as it was glamorous. If the Capitals proved Detroit soul could get funky and gritty, the next band showed how it could turn dreamy and elegant. Number 4. Ruby and the Romantics. In 1963, Ruby and the Romantics unveiled Our Day Will Come, a dreamy ballad carried by a Latin-infused cha-cha groove, subtle organ textures, and Ruby Nash's velvety contralto.
Our day will come.
The record soared to number 1, a rare crossover hit that blended doo-wop R&B and pop elegance. They followed with Hey There Lonely Boy, a track built on gentle 12/8 swing and soaring vocal harmonies.
Oh, my lonely boy.
Though later immortalized by Eddie Holman in the 70s, the Romantics version set the blueprint. Another highlight, Young Wings Can Fly, showcased the group's stacked harmonies and lush orchestral arrangements, proof they could handle up-tempo numbers as well as ballads.
Wings can fly, young wings.
Yet without Motown's promotional engine, Ruby and the Romantics were overshadowed, remembered mostly for one hit instead of the sophisticated catalog they left behind. Number 5. The Intruders. Philadelphia soul might not have dominated the charts yet in the 1960s, but the Intruders were already laying the groundwork. Their 1968 single, Cowboys to Girls, fused falsetto leads, tight doo-wop harmonies, and a brass-driven groove that would become the signature of Gamble and Huff's Philly International sound. They showed their playful side with Love is Like a Baseball Game, a song built around sporting metaphors, gospel call and response, and upbeat horn charts. It revealed how Philadelphia soul could be witty and streetwise without losing its polish. Then came Together, a slower, more romantic ballad, powered by lush string pads and layered vocal phrasing that foreshadowed 70s smooth soul. Despite shaping Philly's identity, the Intruders are often overshadowed by later stars like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, unfairly remembered as the prelude instead of the pioneers. Number 6. Barbara Mason. At just 17, Barbara Mason delivered one of the most striking debut singles of the 60s, Yes, I'm Ready. Built on a 12/8 ballad swing, spoken word introduction, and gospel-inflected chord progressions, the track captured teenage vulnerability like few others.
Yes, I'm ready to learn.
Her follow-up, Sad, Sad Girl, leaned even deeper into confessional lyricism, restrained rhythm guitar, and aching vocal phrasing, cementing her style as intimate rather than showy. By the late 60s, she pushed further with Oh How It Hurts, pairing orchestral arrangements with raw vocal cracks that foreshadowed Philly soul's emotional core.
How it hurts for me to be.
Yet Mason never reached the household name status of Patti LaBelle or Dionne Warwick. Underrated and often overlooked, she was a blueprint for the confessional Philly soul singers who followed. But if Barbara Mason gave Philly soul its confessional heart, the next band showed how Chicago soul could bring funk-driven swagger. And speaking of swagger, if you enjoyed our ride so far, hit subscribe and tell us in the comments which 60s group you'd bring back. Number 7. The Esquires. From Chicago's West Side came the Esquires, a group that blended street-corner doo-wop traditions with the emerging bite of funk. Their 1967 hit Get On Up jumped out of radios with syncopated bass, sharp horn punches, and a falsetto lead that danced above the groove. They carried that energy into And Get Away, which used stop-time breaks and stacked vocal layers to build tension before exploding back into rhythm. It was pure dance floor science, tight, percussive, impossible to ignore. While their sound hinted at the funk revolution James Brown would soon dominate, the Esquires never broke past regional fame. Today, they're remembered as a band that proved Chicago soul had its own gritty swagger, even if history overlooked them. Number 8. The Five Stairsteps. Before the Jackson 5 ever hit Motown, the Five Stairsteps were dubbed the first family of soul. Their breakout, O-H Child, technically from 1970 but born out of their late 60s catalog, shimmered with lush string arrangements, tender falsetto leads, and gospel-rooted call and response. It It became an anthem of hope in turbulent times. Earlier singles like Danger, She's a Stranger revealed their tight sibling harmonies and blues-inflected phrasing, already setting them apart from other teen groups. Another highlight, World of Fantasy, showcased their shift toward more sophisticated arrangements with layered guitar lines and orchestral backdrops.
It's the world of fantasy.
Despite their influence, the Stairsteps are rarely mentioned alongside the Jackson 5, a cruel irony since they paved the road for family soul groups to come. Number 9. The Royalettes. From Baltimore came the Royalettes, a girl group that leaned closer to symphonic soul than the pop-driven Motown style. Their 1965 single, It's Gonna Take a Miracle, wrapped their harmonies in sweeping string arrangements, jazzy chord voicings, and dramatic crescendos, sounding like a soul ballad staged for a theater.
It's gonna take a miracle. Yes, it's gonna take a...
They carried that orchestral polish into I Want to Meet Him, a track with lush brass fills and conversational soprano phrasing that gave the song a cinematic quality.
I wanna meet him.
Another standout, I'm the One, blended doo-wop vocal stacks with symphonic flourishes, a bold move in an era dominated by stripped-down R&B grooves.
I don't wanna be the one to tell her.
Despite their artistry, the Royalettes never had the promotional firepower of Motown or Stax, leaving them underrated pioneers of orchestral soul. But stay tuned. If the Royalettes reached for orchestral heights, the Tams kept soul grounded in Southern joy. Number 10. The Tams. Straight out of Atlanta, the Tams carved their niche with a mix of Southern soul grit and Carolina beach music charm. Their 1968 classic, Be Young, Be Foolish, Be Happy, rode a laid-back shuffle groove, buoyant horn lines, and jubilant group harmonies that made it a staple for shag dancers along the Carolina coast.
Be young, be foolish, but be happy.
Earlier, they found chart success with What Kind of Fool Do You Think I Am?, a tighter R&B cut anchored by Levi Stubbs-style baritone leads and a driving rhythm section.
Do you think I am?
Despite consistent regional love, the Tams never crossed fully into national dominance. Overshadowed by Motown's polish, they remained a cult favorite in the Southeast, proving joy and groove didn't always need mainstream validation. Number 11. The Ad Libs. From Bayonne, New Jersey, came the Ad Libs, a group that fused brill-building pop craftsmanship with raw R&B vocal phrasing. Their 1965 hit, The Boy from New York City, sparkled with walking bass lines, doo-wop harmonies, and playful soprano lead vocals that gave it instant radio appeal.
Oh yeah, he's really down.
They followed with tracks like He Ain't No Angel, where a gospel-inspired call and response blended with bright brass flourishes.
He ain't no angel. I don't care.
It hinted at a group capable of more than just novelty charm, yet the Ad Libs never escaped the one-hit label. Without major label backing, they were quickly eclipsed by the next wave of girl group acts, remembered mainly for one song, even though their sound helped bridge doo-wop into pop soul. Number 12. The Valentinos. The Valentinos, a family group from Cleveland, carried the unmistakable fire of gospel into R&B, led by Bobby Womack. Their 1964 single, It's All Over Now, pulsed with gritty guitar licks, blues-rooted chord changes, and call and response harmonies that blurred the line between church and juke joint. The track found fame when the Rolling Stones covered it, but the Valentinos version carried a raw urgency the cover smoothed out. Other songs like Looking for a Love showed their ability to craft tight vocal interplay, and and groove-heavy arrangements. Despite their innovation, the Valentinos are remembered more as a footnote to Bobby Womack's solo career. This is an injustice, especially since they were among the first to introduce gospel intensity into mainstream soul music. When we look back at the 60s, history usually celebrates the Motown and Stax headliners, but these 12 groups proved the soul explosion was much bigger than a handful of legends. The Marvelettes showed Motown's first blueprint. The Contours and Capitals brought grit and dance floor fire. Ruby and the Romantics, the Intruders, and Barbara Mason gave us tenderness and intimacy. The Esquires, Five Stairsteps, and Royalettes pushed vocal harmony into new shapes, and the Tams, Ad Libs, and Valentinos kept regional sounds alive with their own flavors of soul. Underrated? Absolutely. Forgotten? Too often. But each of these names left fingerprints on the music that shaped the decade. So tell us, which one deserves a comeback on your playlist?